Hello everyone, Ace here, and I hope you guys are doing good. In today's video, I will be doing an in-depth analysis of Isagi Oichi's playing style, and how him Sagi is growing to be not like his childhood idol Noa, but rather he is without knowing it, shaping to be like the master strategist Mark Snuffy, and how this will lead Isagi to be world class and eventually the best player in the world. Before we start, however, if you enjoy this type of videos and content, make sure to subscribe and to hit the notification bell for more amazing BLUELOCK theories and reviews. And now without any further ado, on with the video. We start this analysis with chapter 209, versus Ubers, specifically the cover of the chapter. It shows Isagi with a missing piece to become the #1 player in the world. And I think that this was very deliberate by the writer, to serve as a hint that in this game, the Ubers game, Isagi will find the final piece for reaching and even surpassing Noa. And I think this piece lies in the man dubbed the overall #1 player by Noa himself, the master strategist Snuffy. But before we talk about Isagi and his playing style and how it compares to Snuffy's, I would first like to prove that despite being his idol, Isagi is not following Noa's playing style. And for this, I will take you guys to chapter 163. We see Kaiser scores an insane goal with his Kaiser impact. This gets Levinio excited, and so he joins the game using his star changeup. Noa follows up and joins, not for the balance to be thrown off. The game restarts and we get our first showing at a duel between two masters, Noa versus Levinio, with both players scoring amazing goals. However, what I want to focus on, and the reason for bringing this duel up, is how the two goals were scored. Both masters relied on no one and nothing but their own skill to score the goals. This was totally intentional to show us that for certain top players, their skill is their biggest weapon, and that this weapon is what sets them apart. You either are a genius at dribbling like Levinio, or you're not. You either are ambidextrous with a god-given body like Noa, or you're simply not. Talent and skill vary between players, and the path you walk depends on your body type and what kind of skill you have. This was further explored in the England training win. As Prince explained, the best way to use the body differs from player to player. It makes sense for Bachira to follow Levinio's playing style, given that both are monster dribblers. However, it wouldn't make sense for Isagi to follow in Noa's footsteps to become the best in the world. And as a matter of fact, this was confirmed in chapter 213, when Isagi approached Kunigami and asked him to teach him how to become ambidextrous. Kunigami then said that he only became like Noa because of his muscle mass and bone structure, and that if Isagi tries, he will only destroy his specs. The chapter ends with Isagi realizing that Bachira and CHIGIRI did not change their playing style when training under the world-class masters, but rather they did only minor changes to utilize their ultimate weapon's fullest potential. This chapter serves as a clear-cut indication that Isagi will not follow Noa's playing style. No matter what Isagi does, he does not have his childhood hero's god-given body and talent. And in order to reach world class or to become the #1 ranked player, Isagi will have to carve his own path, depending on his talent and skill. Speaking of special talent and weapons, it's time for us to explore Isagi's playing style. And what a better starting point than asking what is his ultimate weapon. Some would say it is his direct shot, and while I think it is his signature move, it is by no means his strongest weapon, as we've seen many times how much conditions it needs just to be effective. And in the Manshine City game, Isagi acquired a new and a much powerful weapon, Meta Vision. So is this new higher dimension vision his ultimate weapon? Well, while Meta Vision is really impressive and was what took Isagi to the next level, I think it plays second to Isagi's ultimate weapon that he had since day one. To fully explain what this ultimate weapon is, let's go back to Meta Vision, but let's not focus on what it is, but rather how Isagi got it. In chapter 181, Isagi realized that he is missing a very crucial piece, and that he is falling behind when faced with world-class players like Kaiser. This prompted him to do the thing that he has been doing since the start of the BLUELOCK project. That is, analyzing both his opponents and teammates, and to morph his playing style depending on the pieces he finds. And this time was no different. Kaiser scores an amazing goal, and there stood Isagi behind him, with his newfound piece. That is his ultimate weapon. Not Meta Vision, but rather the ability to analyze and to devour allies and enemies alike, to morph and to improve with each play he witnesses, and finally to design tactics that are case-specific, a weapon best described by Naruhaya in chapter 55. Isagi, you are a genius of adaptability. Using Raichi to beat Nico, his off-the-ball one-on-one movements, and even Meta Vision are all byproducts. The real weapon is his brain and how he uses it. Isagi analyzes the field faster than anyone and strategically deploys tactics to dominate the game. This is Isagi Oichi. Doesn't this remind you of certain someone? A master like none other? Yes, his style is very close to Snuffy's tactical play. But before we do our analysis of the two players and how Isagi is unconsciously beginning to play like Snuffy, I'd like to take a step back and talk about Noa again. Despite Isagi realizing that he can never play like his childhood hero and that he needs his own way of reaching the #1 rank, there is one aspect in which Isagi is following Noa, and that is his philosophy. In chapter 158, Noa laid the roadmap of his philosophy to Isagi. Football is not his passion, dream, or any of that amateur thinking. Noa doesn't have any irrational mental blocks regarding football, and he approaches it with seriousness and responsibility, and with rationality. In other words, he is a true professional. And this is completely in line with Snuffy's philosophy. Football is work. By treating football as a job, you acquire the seriousness and responsibility needed to reach world class. And I would like to make this the first comparison point between Isagi and Snuffy. Rationality is king. Isagi was able to dominate the Manshine City game even with Chris Prince being there. By doing what Noa told him, he rationally thought about Yukimiya and Kaiser's motives. Coupled with his high IQ and metavision, he fully analyzed the game. Isagi then tactically designed an attack pattern that used Yukimiya's sense of protagonism to deal with Kaiser's irrational play. This is very in line with Snuffy's tactical strategies. When he joined the game against Pastor München, he used metavision to read the field before anyone, even Noa and other metavision users Kaiser and Isagi. Then with his high IQ, he put together multiple attack patterns, and depending on the variables and the current state of the field, the best design and pattern get executed. In one particular moment that I would like to bring attention to, he rationally thought about Noa's game plan and motives, and when he got double pressed by him and Isagi, he already had anticipated it, and dealt with the situation with ease. And in fact, I would like to take this opportunity to speak about the next point of comparison, and one of the pieces that Isagi is missing, and that is their physicality. Snuffy doesn't have the God-given body of Noa or Prince, nor does he have an innate dribbling skill like Lavinio that would allow him to win his one-on-one duels. Yet, in chapter 223 we discovered because he's a genius and thinks of everything rationally, the master strategist incorporates Jiu-Jitsu into his football to give himself world-class ball retention, an ability that enables him to dominate his one-on-one interactions. Even Noa, who we've seen dominate the physical battles against Lavinio and Prince, struggles with Snuffy, who had no issue dealing with both him and Isagi, and it didn't even affect his attack pattern. And I believe this is the next piece Isagi needs in order to get closer to world class, and eventually the #1 spot. As it stands right now, Isagi's physicality is very lacking, unlike for example Baru or Kunigami who can force their way through. Nor he is good at dribbling like Bachira or Yukimiya. And well, although he compensates for that with his metavision, his great positioning and his high IQ, to reach a world class, it is essential to have, well, a world class ball retention. And we've seen throughout the Neo Egoist League how Isagi was stopped multiple times when he just got pressed, on numerous occasions by Kaiser, twice by Aku so far, and in chapter 214 where he got completely shut down by Uber's players. After getting pressed, Isagi stated that he has no time to use his metavision and that he needs to keep the ball and then pass, but he ultimately failed. And for this I think Isagi will have to take a page from Snuffy's book and find a way to dominate the one-on-one and ball retention duels. This could be in the form of incorporating martial arts into his playing style or through training certain aspects like we've seen him do with Raichi to increase his stamina. And speaking of Raichi, I think it's time we talk about the final point of comparison between Isagi and Snuffy. In chapter 223, Noa explains that they have no way of dealing with Snuffy right now, and that all they can do is to endure the 3 minutes. There are times when endurance can open a path. This led Isagi to think of a quick defensive pattern that would limit Snuffy's options by relying on the stamina freak Raichi to form an obstacle in front of Snuffy, a form of a man-marking design specifically to deal with Snuffy's versatile playing style. This was a defensive pattern that Isagi came up with on the fly, a design that utilizes the strength points of his teammate to deal with the current situation. Another example of this strategic thinking was in chapter 79, when Isagi utilized Baro's unpredictability and playing style to fully take control of the game from Ren. This is without a doubt the biggest point of comparison between Isagi and Snuffy. As we've seen in chapter 214, Snuffy designs attack and defensive patterns depending on the strength and playing style of his players. Then for every situation the fitting design gets deployed. Now, while it is obvious that Snuffy's tactical design is ages ahead of Isagi's, I think it's just a matter of experience. For example, even though it didn't work, the very fact that he thought of an effective pattern against a man that even Noa had no clue how to stop speaks value to Isagi's tactical genius. And a big reason why I think he is subconsciously following Snuffy's playing style. Well, following is not the correct word here because he hasn't seen Snuffy before, but now that he did, I think it is obvious that Isagi will realize that the piece he is missing to reach Noa lies in Snuffy's playing style, and then this is the path that he needs to follow in order to achieve his goal. This takes us a full circle, back to the cover of chapter 209. The piece states number 1, and during the game it was confirmed by Noa that Snuffy is the overall number 1. And after making the comparison points, it is now clear that Snuffy is the final piece for Isagi. However, before we end the video, I would like to talk about one small hint at this. In chapter 205, it was revealed during an interview that Isagi is being labeled the next Modric, a midfielder that dominates the game. In contrast to Itoshi's side, however, Isagi responds that he wants to be a striker and that he will never give up that egoism. At that moment, we had no clue of how he would do that. So far, all of Isagi's plays are suited to be a midfielder and not a striker. But this game, the Uber's game, Isagi now has a clear-cut rational path into becoming a striker. There is to follow in the footsteps of one of the 5 master strikers and the overall best player in the world, Mark Snuffy. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and please let me know what you think about this. Does following Snuffy make sense for Isagi, or would he find another path to reach world class? Until next time, thank you for watching and take care.